Hey, shalom, shalom, Israel, shalom. Welcome to another Level Up segment where we are always taking your questions and your comments about self-improvement, parenting, as well as marriage. Today's topic, we are going to get into emotional regulation, all right? Emotional regulation. Let me get that first video, video 8. Let me get that first, because a lot of our people struggle with what? Emotional regulation. How do we control the things that are going on within our mind, going on within ourselves? Let's get into that video.
Had a brain surgeon on and a neuroscientist on, a guy who was both a brain surgeon and a neuroscientist. And I asked him, after studying the brain, he'd done over 1,000 surgeries on the brain, but he's also studied the mind. I said, after all your years of studying the brain and the mind, what's the number one skill every human being should have? He replied with emotional regulation. You said one of the things is...
Hold on, pause it right there. The doctor said one of the most important things for your brain is emotional regulation. Meaning that what? Your emotions have an impact on your brain, on how you think, on how you're going to respond to certain situations and circumstances. Play on.
Poor conflict resolution is one of the things that causes people to break up. You added to that as well, Matthew. Why do you think people struggle with emotional regulation, not just in life, but even heightened more in relationships?
So emotional regulation, right? How do we deal? How do we handle? The world is full of ups and downs, turmoils and trials. You have your personal trials, you have marriage trials, as well as congregational. How do you deal with the emotions that arise? Now, a lot of times there's different ways you can go about expression or suppression. These are different ways you can attack emotions. Some people like to suppress their emotions. Other people express them. May not be in the right way, right? And suppression, we're going to get into suppression first. Let me get the definition of suppression. Because a lot of us choose to suppress our feelings and emotions. The question is, why do we want to suppress instead of express, right? Let's get that definition. Let me get the go to Google. That's not what I want. I don't know what dictionary that is. So the thing is, a lot of us, we don't have control over our emotions. We have no self-control or even self-awareness to know how we are processing these emotions, right? Here we go. Yep.
I got it. Suppression is the act or forcefully preventing, putting an end. Is the act of forcefully preventing, putting an end to, or concealing something.
Jump to where it says psychology.
Psychology. Suppression refers to the conscious, intentional effort to push unwanted thoughts, feelings, or impulses out of conscious awareness. This differs from repression, which is an unconscious defense mechanism.
So now you have a difference between suppression and repression. Suppression is the conscious, intentional effort to push away these thoughts. Meaning what? There's an uncomfortability there. There's a lack of intelligence there when it comes to dealing with our emotions. So we may willingly suppress them, right? Now, a lot of people suppress their feelings. Why? Because it protects us from past hurt, past traumas, things that we don't want to relive. It protects us with our current identity that we're trying to portray, right? That you may have an ego, you may have an identity you're trying to uphold. So what happens? You end up suppressing certain feelings, right? Now, we do a lot of suppression. A lot of times our people suppress because why? We like to avoid conflict. We don't like to get into conflict because you know what? We can't handle conflict constructively. Any conflict, most of the time that arises with an emotionally immature person ends in what? Violence, right? Handling it the wrong way. Now, what happens to the brain when it comes to emotions? Can you give me amygdala? Give me amygdala. Give me the definition for amygdala. You have two types of things going on in your brain. You have the amygdala as well as the prefrontal cortex, right? The amygdala moves in a AMYGDA. You got it? The amygdala is what's happening when you're in a fight or flight type of scenario. Your brain reacts impulsively in a fight or flight scenario, whereas your prefrontal cortex, it deals more logically, right? So a lot of us move from that space.
So it's your ability to, the frontal cortex is based on you making decisions.
Right.
And the other one you mentioned, amygdala.
Amygdala.
That's based on something that's
It's just impulse.
it's something that takes over.
Takes hold of it. Read that for me, officer. Amygdala.
Amygdala is a small almond-shaped cluster of nuclei located deep
I'll read
within
it.
the brain.
Already. The amygdala is a small almond-shaped cluster of nuclei located deep within the brain's temporal lobes. As an essential part of the limbic system, it acts as the brain's primary processing center for emotions, threat detection, and the fight or flight response.
Fight or flight response. IT, can you get that next video? Amygdala hijack. Because a lot of times, our first response isn't always the best response. We're moving out of impulse. We're moving out of sense of fight or flight, right? Whether you're trying to protect yourself, whether you want to avoid conflict, whether you just don't know how to completely dive into the emotion that you're feeling and process it effectively. Yeah, amygdala, yep, emotional hijacking.
We've all had those moments when we let our emotions take over, and we did something that we later regretted. Our amygdala protects us from harm by receiving information from the world and quickly scanning our memories to see if the information presents any threat. If the amygdala senses danger, it acts like an emergency alarm and quickly begins the fight, flight, or freeze response. Blood leaves the prefrontal cortex, where we make good decisions, and instead goes towards the amygdala and major muscles in preparation for a fight, flight, or freeze response.
So stop right there. So what happens when you're moving from a space of impulsivity? Is that a word? Impulsivity? You move, being impulsive, right? You're moving from logic. You're removing yourself from logic, and you're just moving off of instinct, pure animal instinct. No logic, no cognitive logic being involved at all. You're just moving in fight or flight mode. All right, drop that real quick. Let me get Sirach chapter 23 and verse 2. Because as we discuss emotional regulation, it's very important for us to understand how we deal with one another, how we deal with our spouse, how we deal with people that are at our workplace, right? Because these are all going to be emotional triggers that we come across each and every day.
So the fight or flight in regards to if there's a conflict between a husband and a wife, like verbal conflict, correction is coming out, wife doesn't agree, husband is correcting the wife, or it could be with brothers or with an argument that sisters are having, right? So the fight would be what? That person being defensive,
Right.
then that person going into that place where they begin to justify themselves,
Right.
and they refuse to use any type of reasoning to try to see where the other person is coming from, and they go into straight defensive mode, and it's just war.
Right. You're exactly avoiding accountability. That's exactly right, officer. Can you get that Sirach chapter 23 and verse 2?
Yes.
2 and
So
3.
Sirach chapter 23 and verse 2. Who will set scourges over my thoughts?
Meaning what? Who is going to bring my thoughts into subjection? Who is going to bring them into a certain type of discipline? Come on.
And the discipline of wisdom over mine heart.
And the discipline of wisdom over my mind, because it takes much discipline in order to be able to regulate your emotions. If you're moving out of fight or flight behavior, certain scenarios you're not going to be able to function in. If your boss comes to you on your job and says something to you that you don't like, you may be more ready to submit there, right? Because you don't want to deal with the fact of, damn, I'm about to get fired if I don't listen to what this guy says. But when you're at home and your husband tells you to do something, oh no, you can't tell me. You're trying to treat me like a slave. No.
You know also what it is, officer, is a sense of entitlement. You see how Esau, he's always feeling entitled to know your business. So when you're trying to correct our brothers or sisters, they're feeling entitled. You don't need to know that. This is all about me. Right. I'm entitled to this. I think I deserve this, and I want it, and I don't care. And sometimes it's not even the message, it's who it's coming from. They don't want to receive it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But continue with that. Verse 2.
Who will set scourges over my thoughts, and the discipline of wisdom over mine heart, that they spare me not from mine ignorances?
A lot of times we are ignorant. We are ignorant to how to move as a people with one another. We are ignorant to how to move in such scenarios where it may make us upset. We may feel anxious. We may feel like shutting down, right? When there's a time where you need to express yourself and tell somebody what's going on, you're doing what? You're suppressing, right? Read on.
That they spare me not for mine ignorances, and it pass not by my sins, lest mine ignorances increase and my sins abound to my destruction.
And this is what's going to happen. If you continue to be ignorant in your emotional regulation, what's going to happen? You're going to put yourself in precarious situations that you're going to not have a good time getting out of. That's what's going to happen because you do not know how to move at a state of logic as opposed to moving off of strictly impulse, right? Give me, drop that. Give me video 2. Stay calm. Stay calm. Video 2. Sometimes when you're involved in a situation that your senses are heightened or you're feeling anxious or overwhelmed, sometimes you got to take a step. Sometimes you got to take a breath. You got to take a breather. You got to disconnect from the situation to come back so that you can handle it in a more constructive way.
Hey, hold up. Before you go there, give me Proverbs 14 and 16, 17. Read it, Jedediah.
Oh, yes, sir. Proverbs 15.
14 and verse 16.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 14 and verse 16. 16 and 17. The backslider.
No, 14, 16.
Excuse me, 14 and 16. A wise man feareth and departeth from evil.
So this is supposed to be us having the laws on our minds, the commandments, knowing the scriptures, utilizing the scriptures in the different scenarios that we face on a day-to-day basis. If you're faced with conflict, then the way we're supposed to respond to conflict is with wisdom. We can't let our fleshly mind override us and dictate how we maneuver in situations. We can't maneuver like a beast. We can't maneuver like somebody that has something to prove. Maneuver like you got a chip on your shoulder. You got to use wisdom because situations, if you sit back and analyze it, you'll see the reasonings behind why it got to where it got to. And you'll feel like a fool if you give in to the situation, you get mad, you get all emotional, only to find out afterwards, oh, the way you was looking at it was actually wrong. Right. And it was uncalled for. It could have been a better way to handle the situation. So the scriptures is saying how we got to program ourselves is what? Read it again.
A wise man feareth and departeth from evil.
So a wise man is going to have foreknowledge, wisdom, to be able to reason and come up with proper logic to analyze a situation. Read.
But the fool rageth and is confident.
A fool is someone that's void of God's commandments. A fool is going to fully indulge in that emotional space. They're going to allow their emotions to fully control them. They're not going to use any logic, any type of reasoning whatsoever, and they're going to get caught up in a situation that could have been avoided. Read.
But the fool rageth and is confident.
And is confident in his raging because he believes that he is right. You can't see any, the only thing you're seeing is right in front of you. You can't see any other points of reasoning. You're not able to hear any other voice of reason except for that voice in your head. No, you got to prove yourself. You got to show them that you're not a bitch. You got to prove that you're a man. You got to prove that you not one to mess with. Those initial voices that you hear in your head when conflicts arise, don't listen to them. It is Satan.
Right.
Those first initial thoughts that come is Satan. That's not the spirit. You run into a conflict and the first voice, you gotta take the first hit, or you gotta that's Satan right there. If there's a way to pacify the situation, if there's a way to calm the situation down, that's the route that you need to go. But the only way you could do that is if you're studying, you have the scriptures within you and you're reasoning properly, you're reasoning with sound reason according to the scriptures. Them first initial impulsive thoughts that you get, that is Satan right there. Right. Keep reading.
He that is soon angry dealeth foolishly.
If you're soon angry, you get so angry quick without finding out why something was said or why something was done. What's the reasoning behind it? But you're getting mad. You haven't confirmed that whatever is said or done is actual facts yet, but you're getting mad over it. The Bible says what?
He that is soon angry dealeth foolishly.
So that's the opposite of wisdom, to be foolish. When wisdom is not in you, that means you're a fool. That's what it means. You don't have the commandments in you. You don't have the laws in you. You're not studying. Read.
And a man of wicked devices is hated.
And a man of wicked devices, you have wicked tendencies. You got anger issues. You like to pop off with people just like that without no reasoning, no soundness of mind, no logic. You just want to fight with somebody. Right. Nobody's gonna like you. Nobody's gonna want to be around you. Nobody's gonna want to deal with you. Nobody likes someone like that. Men that are keeping the commandments, men that are doing what's right, are to associate themselves with brothers and sisters that are like-minded. Because if you have somebody like this around you that's a fool, they're going to get you caught up in trouble. Their wrongdoings, you're going to have to suffer the consequences of that as well with that person. Go ahead.
You're 100% officer, 100% correct. Now, don't give me that video too. Give me impulsive, because the officer was talking about being impulsive, having no wisdom and moving foolishly. A lot of times we move off impulse, and that's foolish. That's simple-minded. That's not the spirit. Give me the definition of impulse. The definition of impulse. And then, officer, let me get Proverbs 25 and 28. Impulse definition. Go up. Okay, yep, yeah. Read that.
It says impulsive means acting suddenly on instinct or emotion without planning or considering the consequences.
Without planning or considering the consequences. That's foolish. That's not wisdom. Wisdom is moving with planning, with preparation, with taking all of the contributing factors into account before I make this decision, right? Now, give me Proverbs 25 and verse 28.
Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 28. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls.
If you have no rule over your spirit, meaning what? You can allow anything to come in and affect you. Anything that happens, whether you getting caught in traffic and now you got road rage, whether your wife don't want to agree with you at the house, whether she didn't iron your clothes properly, now you all distraught. Now you out of the spirit. Whether your job said, you know what, you're not going to get these hours this week. If you allow all of these things to dictate your emotional regulation, that means you don't have the spirit, because you can't move with wisdom and planning. You know what? Okay, I got to take this into consideration. My wife is doing this. My wife is moving like that. Okay, let me prepare my mind, because I know she's going to do some BS. Okay, at the job, they acting like this. You know what? Bills are tight. Money is tight. I can't allow that to then dictate how I'm going to respond to my boss when he gives me that extra assignment, right? Or when my wife don't want to iron my clothes for Sabbath, right? I can't respond impulsively or foolishly. I must use wisdom at all times.
So I got a Sirach chapter 5 and verse 2 and 3. It's exactly true what you're saying. We can't go based off our impulses, because going off our emotions is what got these young men in gangs and in prison. They go off their emotions and they go crazy, and now they're in jail. They're in gangs, they're Bloods, they're Crips, they're locked up. And some of us, because some brothers were raised only by the moms, so they get emotional tendencies when they get around men. The men are picking on them, or the men are judging them and correcting them. Now they're all emotional. Now they're getting out of control. Read that. Let's see what God has to say.
Book of Sirach, chapter 5 and verse 2.
Read.
Follow not thine own mind and thy strength to walk in the ways of thy heart.
Then that's what you just said. He that have rule over his spirit is better than a city without walls. So why would God says, don't even follow your mind. In the heat of the moment, whatever correction is happening, like the officer Jalil brought out, that Satan is the first thought. I'm right. You're wrong.
Message.
The whole world is wrong. The whole world is wrong, and everybody's against me. I'm the only righteous man standing in this building. Read on.
And say not, who shall control me for my works?
Right, who's going to tell me what to do?
For the Lord will surely revenge thy pride.
Exactly. That's why some brothers, they get demoted, they get blasted. And like Officer Jalil had brought out, some people just don't want to be by you after a while. You lost the love of the congregation. It's like, yo, this man is too much. He's too hard-headed to deal with, or sisters too. You start murmuring. You get out of control. Everything is a fight and an argument. That's what you're expecting out of a spirit like that.
Right.
And God said, bro, we can't deal with you. You can't deal with your neighbor like that. Is that on there?
That's it on that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's a great point. That's an excellent point. And you know what else? Black people have a hard time with this. Blacks and Hispanics, we have a hard time regulating our emotions. You know why? Because life is very emotional for us. You know why? Because we're always on the bottom. We're always broke. We always don't have enough. We always live in paycheck to paycheck. But a lot of times, black people will make long-term decisions off of short-term emotions. That's what happens. Long-term decisions based off of short-term emotions. And that's the problem. Now, let me get video number 3. Because now there's other parts of emotional regulation. Sometimes, a lot of times, women have a hard time regulating their emotions, right? So what do they choose to go to? They choose to deal in manipulation, gaslighting, these different type of tactics. That's what it is. It's tactics in order to what? Get their way, because they can't fully communicate.
Call them threat vectors.
What is that again?
I call them threat vectors.
Damn, threat vectors.
Different possible ways that an attack can be launched.
Well, bomb on that. Threat vectors. Y'all sisters y'all gotta stop. Y'all better cut it out, man. Let's play that, IT. Now listen to what the sister says. She said something very heavy. Listen to this here.
Women in general become a victim in relationships. I've been in relationships where I was a victim every single time there was something wrong with a man. A man could say one thing and I'm like, well, you did. Remember when you 6 months ago said,
Hold on. Go back. The sister said every time she plays the victim. Every time. Playing the victim in every scenario, that's a tactic of manipulation. And sisters know that they can use that in order to manipulate the man to get what they want. Because they don't know how to just express something logically, that it makes sense, because more than likely, us men, we move logically, right? Less emotionally and more logically, so it's difficult.
I'll say this. An illogical man, emotionally unstable man is a Jezebel's playground. So women will launch those types of attacks, and it will be successful with a man that's not emotionally stable, because as soon as somebody, if you're correcting your woman and she brings up, well, what about what you did a year ago? Like, okay, the difference in who you are will reveal, who you are will be shown in how you deal with it.
Right.
The godly man is gonna deal with it the godly way, and then the emotional man is gonna deal with it with the argumentative way, right. The back and forth way.
Right.
If you go back and forth and you arguing and she got you, you already lost. And she in her mind is like, gotcha.
Right.
I can't say the other word, but
gotcha.
She like, gotcha, nigga.
We got you. Play that, IT.
The victim every single time there was something wrong with a man. A man could say one thing and I'm like, well, you did. Remember when you 6 months ago said da 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 da? And that's how I used to be programmed to be.
Oh, hold on. You see what she said? A lot of our sisters are programmed that way. They don't even understand why they behave the way they behave. They are programmed that way from what? Their upbringing, from what they're seeing on social media, right? From what they've been taught from their mother, right? Who was bitter against the man that left her, right? Or the father who wasn't there, that didn't teach her how to what? Respect herself, have high self-esteem, right? So now she's in a confusion of emotions and she doesn't know how to regulate them. So she chooses to do what? She chooses to use tactics like manipulation, gaslighting, guilt tripping, all of these things in order to get her way. Go ahead, play.
so important as a woman, if you want to have a sustainable relationship with a man, to regard his feelings. We disregard men's feelings so much, and it's so foul to a man because he no longer can express himself. He can't tell you how he's feeling. He cannot.
You know what this goes into? This goes into a woman doesn't know how to take correction. She believes it's an attack. The brother says, you know what? I like my chicken like this. I like my chicken like that. You know I'm Judah, right? So I like my chicken like this. Oh, so I don't know how to cook? That's what you telling me? Every time I make you something, you always got an issue. It's an attack. She can't see the correction as simply, oh, just make an adjustment. It has to be an attack, right? All right, drop that, IT. Give me video 4, right? These are just some tactics, right, that are involved. And this is going into marriage, into relationships, right? You may deal with this with the woman on your job who's trying to seduce you, right? So you don't know how to emotionally regulate and tell the sister to fall back. Sister sees you as prey, easy target, light work. You're a layup.
You don't find that suspicious.
And so what's gonna happen? She's going to end up manipulating you to do something to get you out off your square, off your cue, right? Play that.
Another gaslighting tactic that women will use is when they twist your words. So you'll say something very basic, very direct, and they'll take that and make it mean something else and have a problem with it. So you'll say something like, hey man, listen, I just want to relax. I really don't feel like going out tonight. I don't feel like going out to eat tonight. A lot of women will take that and say, oh, well, if you don't want to hang out with me, just say that. If you don't want to be around me or you don't want to be
These
around
are
me,
manipulation tactics. Go ahead, play, IT. These are manipulation tactics.
That's gaslighting. She heard exactly what you said, but she's being selfish in a sense to where she's trying to guilt trip you because you are drained or you don't feel like doing something. Women do shit like that. That's gaslighting. Or let's say you tell your woman, I don't really like the way that you're talking to me right now. I don't really like the way that you disrespect me. Right? And instead of dealing with and being accountable for that, they'll take what you say and catastrophize it and say, oh, well, you're just saying I'm just the meanest, rudest bitch to you ever. I'm just the rudest person in the world. I'm just no good, huh? That's gaslighting, bro.
That's gaslighting.
See what I'm saying?
All right, drop that, IT. That's gaslighting. You know who was manipulating? Who didn't know how to emotionally regulate? Job's wife. Job's wife. Give me that in Job chapter 2 and verse 9. I'm going to show you something. Job's wife tried to gaslight Job. But you know what? Job used wisdom. He used logic. And watch how Job handled the situation. Job chapter 2 and verse 9.
Yes, sir. Job chapter 2 and verse 9. Then said his wife unto him, dost thou still retain thy integrity? Curse God and die.
Hold on. Do thou still hold on? You hear the sarcasm?
Let me say like a black woman. Right, I'm going to say like a black woman.
Go ahead, officer.
Ready? Then said his wife unto him, dost thou still retain thine integrity? Curse God and die, nigga.
You could have just left it the way you. Why we have to do all of that? It's the same thing. How that sound like the black woman? Can you continue, please?
Oh, go ahead. So you see what Job's wife was doing? She tried to get Job to do what? Move off of logic, out of logic and into emotion. Why? Job was going through, he lost his kids, he lost his house, all these things, right? But Job had what? Emotional regulation. He understood. Read verse 10, because Job understood this. Job is going to help you understand what we must do, how we must think when certain things arise that what? Provoke us to be a certain way. This is how we must be. Verse 10.
Verse 10. But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish woman.
You gotta check. You gotta check her ASAP. Oh, hold up. You speak like one of them dumb bees.
Black ashy devil.
Them dumb birds. Foolish. Simple. Read.
What shall receive good at the hand of God?
This is logic. This is logic. This is wisdom speaking here. Shall we receive good? Come on.
At the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil?
Job understood what? Everything is in the Lord's hands. Everything moves according to his say-so. If the Lord say I'm down, I'm down. When the Lord say I'm up, I'm up. I can't let the woman move me by manipulation. Come on. Go ahead, officer.
What we got to also pay attention to is where Job's wife was getting that inspiration of gaslighting from. Because Satan was the one that entered into her, and Satan was speaking through her to Job. So what we got to understand is that these sisters, usually Satan operates through them, and the gaslighting stuff, the stuff that they say to get under your skin, is Satan doing it. It's not them.
Right.
It's not really them. It's Satan inside of them, and they have a very strong satellite signal when it comes to Satan. You know, like how, like back in the day, you have a TV, like the big booty, big back TVs.
Right.
You gotta smack it upside the side of the TV for it to get signal or
Get the
whatever,
signal,
for the
yeah.
image to be clear. They got strong HD, high definition signal. No interruptions. When it comes to Satan entering into them and using them to try to manipulate you and say stuff to you to agitate and get under your skin, Satan is live and direct. Satan enters into them and say a whole bunch of nonsense. And then what happens afterwards is when they do those tactics, say those things, and when Satan leaves them, they come back and like, oh, I never said that. I don't remember saying this. I don't remember because Satan is the one that's using them. But us as men got to know that. That's why we have to have emotional awareness, emotional intellect.
Right.
We have to have emotional stability in order to see the battlefield, in order to navigate it properly. Because if you deal with it the wrong way, then there's many different ways you could get hemmed up. Many different, like even a problem in a marriage could be sorted out with reasoning according to the scriptures. Well, if it's dealt with the wrong way, it could turn into some domestic violence issue where the cops got to get involved now, and now you in jail, or you done put your hands on her, or you done said something to her that you can't take back now, or she said something to you that she can't take back. Now there's a wedge, there's a division now because of short-term emotions.
Congratulations. Played yourself.
100% correct, officer. It's a war. It's a war, and the war begins here in your mind. You gotta be vigilant, brothers. We have to be vigilant, brothers and sisters. We have to be. Now, give me, because this is another thing that happens with emotional regulation. Give me James chapter 1 and verse 19. A lot of the times, for black men, Hispanic men, so-called black woman, Hispanic woman, right? We resort to anger. That is our default setting. Is what we seen growing up, is what they push in the media. The angry black woman, the angry violent black man. This is what we're programmed. Remember the sister said she was programmed this way.
Can I just adjust that statement a little bit?
Yes, sir.
We resort to anger to those that you believe are your equals. The reason why I say that is because our people don't do that with the white man.
Right.
You don't do that with your boss.
Right.
You don't do that. You do that with somebody you perceive as your equal.
Damn. That's heavy. Give me James chapter 1, verse 19.
James chapter 1 and verse 19. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath.
Sometimes you got to stop, hold on, take a second, take a breath, listen. A lot of times we have selective hearing. So we don't, when the correction's coming out, we don't actually hear what the husband is saying, right? We don't actually hear what the leadership is saying. We hear what Satan already put in our mind. That's what we're listening to. And we think leadership, or we think our husband, right, is telling the wife something. The wife believes the husband's telling her something, but it's not. It's Satan. It's like, hold on, you didn't even hear what I said. You didn't hear what I said, right? Because we have to be slow to speak, right? Slow to speak so that we can hear, and slow to wrath, slow to get angry. Now, a lot of times, anger will give you a sense of validation. Anger, when we experience it, it makes you feel like you matter. It makes it feel like what the person did to you, that matters, right? When somebody invalidates you, a lot of times you get angry.
Anger is selective. When it comes to memory, anger is very selective.
Right.
When you get angry, you will only tend to remember the negative things about a person, negative things that were said, negative things that were done. You will not remember positive things or positivity in general.
Right.
That goes out the window when you fully give yourself over to anger. So it's one-sided. It's like only one part of your brain is operating at that moment.
Right. You develop a sense of amnesia when that anger comes. It completely blocks everything, all your memories, all your senses.
Anything to validate that person that you're angry at, it goes out the window.
Right.
You're blocked from thinking about it. Anything to give that person the benefit of the doubt, maybe he didn't say it this way because I don't know him to be this person. He's not abusive. He's not. Maybe I heard it wrong. All of those thoughts is a blockage. When you give it to anger, all of it is blocked out.
IT, give me video 6. Give me video 6, because a lot of the reasons why it's hard for us to deal with each other, it's hard because, like you said, officer, we don't have a hard time dealing with the white man. We respect him. Doesn't matter if he working at the drive-thru at Wendy's.
Because our people in general view him as being over us. Our
Right.
people in general view him as daddy.
Right.
You understand?
Dang.
So with those that you view as your equal, you disrespect them. You don't have to listen to them. You feel you don't have to listen. That's how we are as a people in general, as a collective. That's actually a generational curse.
Right.
The lack of respect for one another. It could be amongst brothers. If we see it on that level.
Right.
We see it amongst ranked men.
Right.
Brothers that's supposed to be dealing with each other and having respect for. We see that. It's also in the aspect of marriage as well. It's there. It's a generational curse that we have to reverse. We have to fix it. But that's something that we deal with as a people. If you're dealing with someone that you view as, oh, that's respectable, someone that's over you, then you're not gonna deal with them from a standpoint of disrespect. You're gonna have an attentive ear to listen to what that person is saying and really absorb what is being said. But when it comes to somebody that you view as your equal, you're not really listening to that person. You're not really regarding their words. And that happens a lot in marriage when that infatuation stage is over. Now, the infatuation stage, when it's over, it gives it now it segues, it brings in the what do you call it? The power stage.
Right.
When the power stage comes in, when that fireworks and all that stuff wear off, now your spouse is there challenging you for power let's see who is gonna have the preeminence.
Right.
And in that stage, they all do this. They want to try to bring things to a level where you and them are equal. And they'll try to deal with you on that level. In the beginning, it was all affirmations and all the nice things, and then all of that wore off. This is war. And then you gotta set them back in their place and not give in to the various threat vectors, the various threats that they launch at you. If you are not emotionally stable, then you're gonna give in to whichever one of them that get you under your nerve or get you under your skin. Go ahead.
IT, play that real quick. Let me get these last pieces.
Looking at me like I'm not your daddy. Let me talk first. What you got to get off your chest?
You just can't open up to me like I'm your son.
Open up to you?
Yeah.
Man, you ain't soft. I don't do all that. I've been through too much to be opening up. What I need to open up for? I got a house for you. I take care of you. What else you need?
But I need you to give me guidance and show me a way.
Toughen up.
But still though, even if you don't do that, you can still talk to your son.
Like what? What you want me to say to you, man?
Check on me. See how I'm doing every day.
You got clothes, you clean. What else I need to do?
All these clothes and stuff don't mean nothing. Truth, I can be hurting on the inside, but put a smile on the outside. Even though we in the same house, it's like you're not there.
You ain't a man. How I'm gonna conversate with you?
But I'm going to be a man, though. That's the thing. And I need you to tell me what to do and what not to do.
I ain't had nobody to sit me down. I grew up in a different time. I need you to tell me, son, from your heart, tell me what you need to talk about.
Whenever I talk to you, just get more into it instead of just giving me a one-word response. Keep feeding into it. Put your energy into it.
You can stop it right there. You can stop it right there. You can see, like you were saying, officer, it's a generational curse. The father said, I didn't get that growing up. I didn't have a man there to tell me how I need to regulate or how I need to deal or how I need to move. So what I do, I pass that on to my son. The son is there trying to figure out, how do I navigate this world? He said, I need guidance. I know I got clothes. I know I got some food, but I need guidance, right? Give me that 1 Kings chapter 2 and verse 2, because this is This is what David said to his son, right? This is our young black boys today in Hispanic, what they need guidance. This is why a lot of them get caught up in drugs, in gangs, in situations where they got baby mamas and they on child support, all these things because they don't have the guidance. Come on, read that.
1 Kings chapter 2 and verse 2. I go the way of all the earth. Be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man.
How are you going to show, like the boy was saying, how do I do this? I need guidance. Read.
And keep the charge of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments.
The only way that we can get that true guidance in that direction and have emotional regulation is we must be keeping God's laws. We must be walking in the commandments. We must be adhering to God's laws in order to what? Cleanse our mind from all the what? Emotional trauma, childhood triggers, childhood trauma that we've experienced. The only way we can get away from that is by what? Making sure we are clean through the word of God, right? That's the only way. Read that last part again.
To walk in his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments, and his judgments and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper in all thou doest, and whithersoever thou turnest thyself.
That's how we're going to prosper, and that's how we're going to have emotional regulation, all right? Now, with that, Israel, that's the conclusion of Level Up segment. We're going to get into the main class.
Across the earth, the prophets move. From city streets to distant lands, the message is the same. Israel must rise. Through every quest, every journey, the truth spreads. No border can contain it. No distance can silence it. Our nation lives in every moment. In joy, we celebrate marriages. In sorrow, we honor our dead. On the Sabbath, we gather as one. Families rejoicing together, bound by the commandments of God. Yet are we tried. From the stones in Kenya to the hatred in Montana, we endure as a soldier of the Lord. And still, the mission expands. On the airwaves, on the screens, in every nation under heaven, Israel's voice is heard. We build our communities. We raise our children in royalty. We restore what was broken. We clean what was defiled. We show the world who we are. This is Israel united in Christ. Nation in motion. Nation endures.